So let's start with the skills and what role can an NGO play, what role can a parent play, what role can all of us play is what we can open it up for a debate and a discussion, of course. But when we talk about skills, we need to look at the skills of the students first, because they are the future, and whatever education, whatever skills that are imparted as of today need to be in alignment with what would be needed in the future. And what would be needed in the future would be something that we may know, and to a large extent probably we don't know. So we need to prepare the students to face the future, to face the uncertainty. If you look at the past year, 2020, it's been an unprecedented year, and it taught us a lot of things. It made us do a lot of things which we had never done earlier, but we did it. That's the best part of the human life. That's the best part of what we can learn, implement, and keep learning. And skills is something on similar lines. So we need to equip the students, for which we need to equip the teachers in the first place. And when I say teachers, I would not limit them only to the teachers of the school. I would include the parents also as teachers here. And what are the skills that we would be looking at? We would be looking at academic skills for sure, yes. This has been of prime focus and paramount importance all through. We would look at life and personal skills, yes. It's all part of the curriculum. It has been there, but there will be special emphasis going forward. There would be emphasis on exposure to vocational skills early in life. Yes, it's important. It would also mean that we need to start focusing on our professional and career skills. And of course, aligning ourselves with the 21st century skills. Why is all this needed? It's because we are competing at a global level. We have to. And our children, the future generation, the generation Z plus, will have no option than to be competing at a global level. We have to go global, and we are going global. So for that, we need to start focusing on skills without losing focus on what we are doing today. So let's take a look as to what I actually mean by skills. But before that, let's focus on some of the highlights of the National Education Policy. That's the talk of the town, and that's where most of the schools, academic institutions, and all the educational stakeholders would be looking at going forward from the next academic year. And what it entails is that the focus on learning, it's not just academic learning, it's not just professional learning, it's not just skills learning, it's learning as a holistic approach is what the NEP envisages. With a focus on core essentials, we'll take a look at what core essentials are. Stress on the importance of skills development. Yes, we need skills to apply and be successful in our professional life going forward. Focus on analytical thinking, critical thinking, logic, reasoning, and problem solving skills. They say, when in doubt, get back to basics. And there's also a proverb which says, catch them young. If we could have all of this initiated at an early age, much before we all get exposed to the nuances of our professional life in terms of employability and jobs and stuff like that, better it would be for the learner if they get exposed early enough. And of course, promoting multilingual and the power of language. Yes, not just Indian languages, but international languages as well. There are going to be changes in the classroom teaching with the NEP being implemented. And then change in the assessment pattern is also being suggested. And vocational training from grade 6 onwards, depending on the interest, the passion, and the aspiration of every child. So having this as the base for our discussion, let's come to the most important aspect of enabling the teachers with the necessary skills that they need to look at and then impart it to the students while they interact and teach, coach, and mentor the children. So there would be continuous professional development for the teachers needed at a very regular basis, not just attending workshops or not just attending seminars for taking certificates, but what will you learn through these professional development trainings, which would skill you to improve on the academic skills, the life and personal skills, your own vocational skills, professional and career skills, and of course, putting all of this into the 21st century skills framework, which would be beneficial for the students. So there is a lot of emphasis on not just capacity building of the teachers, but capability building of the teachers as well. When I build the capabilities of the teachers, that's when competencies get built. So capacity, capability, and competency is what needs to be looked at when we have teachers. Teachers would be the shapers of the next generation. They have been all through. More emphasis now because the horizon is just broadened up. It's not just within our own school, within our own district, or within our own state or country. It's going to be global. So our standards need to be international, our approach needs to be international, and our alignment needs to be towards what we have in store for not just for the present, but also for the future. So having said this, skills of the future, how to thrive in the complex new world. The world is really, really complex, and it is getting even more complex. Thanks to technology, what we are looking at is something that is completely unprecedented in terms of changes being thrown at us at a very fast pace. Thanks to technological advancements, the skills that were in demand 10 years back are no longer in demand today, because the skill sets or the need of the skill sets from the industry has completely shifted. I would no longer be looking at just your marks. I would be looking at how good are you in applying the knowledge that you have gained in the 15, 16 or 20 odd years that you would have spent learning what you have learned. So there has been a report, there are a lot of reports, and there have been skill gap reports that many of the agencies and government institutions have published, especially in India. It paints a very dismal picture, but nothing to feel bad about it. We are catching up, we are fast catching up, and India is always good at that. So let's look at this. This slide sums it all. If I need to be good at being employable or being good at being an entrepreneur in the first place, I need to have basic 3 knowledge that I would need: applied knowledge, effective relationships, and workplace skills. If I put all of this together, I would bring about a lot of usage of not only my knowledge that I've acquired, but also effectively use it for building up my personality, my personal life, as well as my professional life. So all of this other things that you know of is nothing new. So what has changed? The only thing that has changed is the way it will be brought down at the school levels. All of this we speak at the graduation level, at the undergrad or postgrad level, but no more. We would start looking at all of this going forward. Once the NEP is being implemented at its full, we would have all of this started early enough. And these are some of the skills, your abilities that would make all of us successful in our life going forward. I would not go into these details, but yes, some of the things I would definitely point out is, especially for Indian scenario, I don't say it's bad, but there is a scope for improvement, which is interpersonal skills, communication skills, and applied academic skills. I would be good in academics. I would be scoring 90, 95 plus all through. But when it comes to applying what I have learned, we all fail miserably. And there are reasons to it. Let's look at it. I would point you to something that the World Economic Forum has pointed out. It talks about the top 10 skills that are needed for anyone to be successful at a global level. And I've intentionally taken the year 2015, which is 5 years, 6 years, you may say, 5 years, for example, 5 years from 5 years earlier than now. The top 10 skills have been complex problem solving, coordinating with others, people management. You can read through. I would also put up what has changed in 2020. Look at the top. Number one has not changed in 2020 and 2015. But what was number 4 in 2015 has become number 2 in 2020. Critical thinking. Look at creativity, which was at 10 in 2015, has come to number 3. What does all this mean? All this means is that I am looking at applying the academic skills, the academic knowledge that we have acquired, which also means to say that I am no longer looking at just your marks and grades. I am looking at how will you come on board and solve the complex problems that we are all going to face going forward. If you just little open up, you will see the problems that we are facing from all over. Some man-made, some natural, some unnatural, some unexpected. And that's where my complex problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, and creativity would come into picture. Now, this is not going to remain the same going forward. These top 10 skills are going to realign themselves and present it to all of us going forward. So we are already past 2020. 2025 would look even different. 2030, probably it's completely different. I'm sure other panelists would also point on this, but look at all this. What is the job landscape in 2022 that's coming up? Data analytics and scientists, artificial intelligence and machine learning specialists are going to be the most sought after in the next 2 to 3 years to come. So what are we talking about? We are talking about artificial intelligence ignoring human intelligence, which means to say that machines are taking over and humans will be left behind. No, not really. It is also leading to creating newer jobs, newer opportunities, newer entrepreneurial opportunities, and newer skills that we all need to upskill ourselves, reskill ourselves. So when I talk about reskilling, it's not just about the vocational skills. It's not just about the academic skills. It is about aligning ourselves with the skills that are needed for the future. And some of the skills and some of the job profiles that you may see may sound a little jazzy, may sound a little scary sometimes, but if you look at the basics, there is nothing beyond putting in your analytical thinking, your critical thinking, reasoning, problem solving skills is what will make you a good data analyst or a data scientist. I will leave that particular topic for Dr. Amol Goje to talk about it. And incidentally, he is also my PhD guide. So it's been a pleasure to be working under him and learning a lot from him. So I would stop at this point in time and we can open it up for questions going forward. I will end up saying skills is not just about language, not just about math, not just about science. It's about how I will correlate all of this, how I will combine all of this to bring in the effective academic knowledge application going forward, putting in my cognitive thinking abilities and going above my learning skills, or rather Bloom's taxonomy of higher order thinking skills. Let us not keep our students at level 1, 2 and 3. We need to take them to 4, 5 and 6. Just having questions put in as HOTS in the textbooks doesn't help. Do we really make them think? Do we really make them analyze? Do we really make them evaluate? Are we enabling them to creating something new? Is what is the role of educators like you and me.